It's a beautiful Wednesday, November 5th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. And bye weeks are nice.
Little breather for the stretch run. Feels good.
I think we should start this with a classic football joke. The Sooners are 7-2. Every goal still, got it all right in front of them, right, Ted?
Yeah.
But you got to get better every week. You got to win every week. And so you got to win the bye week.
Hey.
You have to win the off week. And as in the football community it goes, you absolutely have to win the off week. You must beat off. You got to beat off. You can't let off beat you. You must beat off. Ted, it is imperative you beat off and get better this week if you're the Oklahoma Sooners.
You must. You got to check the box, right?
Winning is a skill shirts.
Yes.
Now available on opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Available up to size 3XL.
Love it.
Taking care of the big fellas as well. So, yeah, that got done quickly. Shout out to our friends at Opolis. Go snag one.
That's cool. I better start to see those flying around out in the wild. We know, fan base knows, winning is a skill.
Well, buy the shirt, use promo code TED, and then every time you see Ted and you're wearing the shirt, just be like, hey, man, it's you. It's you. You ready to dive into some CFP rankings?
Let's do it.
All right, the Sooners checking in the initial CFP ranking at number 12. Ted, what'd you think?
I thought it was about right. I thought that was about where we would sit. I was curious to see what would happen with Oklahoma and Texas, right? The head-to-head, we were ahead of them in the AP poll, which kind of had you wondering what it might look like. But, they got the head-to-head win. And I was curious, like, how much the Arch Manning, because it was a huge topic of conversation in college football, how poor he was playing, how Texas was just getting by. And then, they had a chance to really make a statement against Vandy, and they got outscored 21-0 in the fourth quarter and, kind of shut the door on them just, really announcing that they're playing better. But, with them winning the head-to-head, I think it's the right move. A lot of these things are going to clean themselves up. I'll tell you one thing I was surprised by. I was surprised that Notre Dame was ahead of both Oklahoma and Texas as a 2-loss team. I don't understand that.
How does that make sense? It's them being number 10 is hard to rationalize. And I think you and I both think Notre Dame's a really good team.
Yeah.
I think CJ Carr is playing some good ball for them at quarterback. They got a bunch of really good players, right? Everyone acknowledges that. But what's their best win?
USC.
We've got 2 wins. We've got a win over Michigan and a win over Tennessee.
Yep.
And I get that Notre Dame has really good losses. Congrats on that. But it's not like our losses are horrible either. Our losses are to Texas and to Ole Miss.
Yeah, to the number 6 team and the number 11 team.
So what is it other than Notre Dame lost early?
I don't know.
And it's clear the committee doesn't think very highly of Miami, having them at 18 Remember, one of those Notre Dame losses is to Miami.
Yeah. I mean,
I,
it's probably that they were really close losses. The A&M game, what was the final, like 41-40, something like that, 41-42, something close. I I don't know. I thought that was kind of ridiculous, honestly,
and it's the same
because
for like Texas should be ranked ahead of them too.
yeah,
But
I agree. Yeah.
I mean,
At a
because
minimum, Texas probably should be, honestly, both of us.
yeah, even if it was Texas 10, Notre Dame 11, OU 12, I would still be upset that Notre Dame's in front of Oklahoma. But that makes more sense. Like, how is Texas not ahead of Notre Dame?
And it kind of just it almost locks Notre Dame in unless they drop a game. But and I know Navy's a good team, but they got Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford left.
Oh, we'll go through all of this in what I am calling the Sooner Nation rooting guide.
Yes, I like
Yeah,
it.
your boys spent some time putting it together, so I'm excited to get to it. But I just with OU having wins over Michigan and Tennessee, and Texas having the win like a really strong win over OU, and the initial loss, a 7-point loss to Ohio State, and then the loss at Florida. I get the loss at Florida is not great, but are we really rewarding better losses instead of good wins? Texas just handled for, let's call it 55 minutes, number 16 Vandy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really confusing, man. Is it simply the eye test? Like they just don't think we have as good of players as Notre Dame? That's like the only thing that makes sense to me.
I I guess I don't know. I mean, you always go back with Notre Dame to like the branding stuff, but I that's the only thing I can think of. And it puts they're in the initial playoff, and like I said, like it's basically they've put them in, and like because there's nothing else that they were really going to be able to do to get themselves ahead with what they have left on the schedule. There's no real names on there. So if you start them there, you could justify keeping them there. That's the way I view it because I don't see any real metric as to a reason why they should be ahead of Texas and Oklahoma.
I'm with you. I Oregon at 9 looks strange, but they're just a one-loss team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost if they're being punished for Penn State's program just completely coming off the rails in a
Yeah.
weird way. Because remember, they were the one that started the chain reaction of Penn State's demise. But when you look at it, their best win is what? Northwestern? Now?
Yeah.
Now, I get that they undoubtedly passed the eye test. Dante Moore is now in the conversation for maybe the number 1 overall pick in the next draft. Like, I get all these things. They've got really good players. I think the reason they're ahead of Notre Dame, Texas, and OU, despite not having the same quality wins, is they only got a 1 in the loss column.
Yeah.
I think it's that simple for me.
Well, and I think the other thing that you've got to look at in the Oregon Penn State reference you made reminded me of it. Like this isn't like you don't start in week 1 and have all these teams and you don't know where they're exactly going to be, and once you see them, like that's where they are. It's like it's an organic thing that's constantly changing. Like Notre Dame lost to Texas A&M, but Texas A&M when they lost to them was not playing like the Texas A&M right now is playing. You know what I'm saying? Like Texas A&M is a way better football team today than when Notre Dame lost to them. Now, you could probably make the argument that Notre Dame is way better than when they played Texas A&M as well, but like for Texas, for example, everyone knows the struggles that they've had this year, but they're playing better and better. And, outside of the fourth quarter against Vanderbilt, they looked really, really impressive. So I don't know. It just continued. The Notre Dame situation to me is the thing that I was most surprised by, I guess.
I I think it was only like Notre Dame's position at 10 was only magnified and made more confusing by Miami, who beat them being at 18.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was only a few weeks ago, Ted. We were talking about Miami being the most likely team to go undefeated in all of college football. And now they're 8 spots behind a team they beat earlier this year
Yeah. With the same amount of losses. Yeah, it's
with the same record. Yeah, that's the key. With the same record.
which, probably goes back to the question that you asked a moment ago. Are we just are we rewarding good like your losses? Are we weighting those way more than we should? I don't know. The good thing is it's early. A lot of this stuff will clean itself out and we'll have a much clearer picture as things develop. Maybe we just get a more difficult picture, but like the BYU Texas Tech game that's coming up, like we'll know more after that. So I don't know. It was like it is every year. Since there's not a set formula criteria, kind of like there was with the BCS. It's just like, well, with Notre Dame, we used the strength of their losses, but with, whatever insert other team, we were impressed with these. Like you can change the formula however you want to for each specific team.
I think OU and Texas should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame, but ultimately the Sooners are where I believe they should be. They're within striking distance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all that matters. You can't control what happens with the teams in front of you. All you can control is the 3 games you have left on the schedule. And when you're Oklahoma football, like the expectation is to make the college football playoff. Sure, you want to be playing for the SEC championship as well, but I think the expectation each and every season around here should be make the college football playoff. And they are in position to do that. That's what you're asking for. Now, that Texas loss and how poorly you played in that game, are you going to think about that for a long time if you end up not making the college football playoff? Sure. But right now, this team's sitting at 7-2, and everything's on the table, man.
Yep.
That's you control your own fate when it comes to making the college football playoff. If you're a 10-2 team, clearly you're in, and you're likely hosting a playoff game in Norman.
Yep.
Which, oh my goodness, how fun would that be?
I saw some of the predictions yesterday. That was before the rankings came out, so maybe that changes it. But one of the ones that we talked about on the radio show was somebody, I don't know which prediction it was, had Oklahoma hosting Notre Dame for a playoff game. That's kind of the matchup you would want to host, someone like that, big name.
That would be epic. Now, I do think when you look at these initial rankings, it feels like the Big 12 was a big winner. The Big 12 has 3 teams ahead of any ACC team. And we all know the top of the sport it's the SEC and the Big 10, right?
Yeah.
So the Big 12's competition isn't the SEC and the Big 10, it's the ACC. And the Big 12 is they are in the driver's seat to get 2 teams in, while the ACC looks prone to only getting 1 team in. Now, there's still a lot of ball to be played, and a lot of things can happen, but the Big 12's got to feel good about where they stand after these initial rankings because they've got BYU, Tech, and Utah all ranked ahead of Virginia.
Yep. Yeah, there's Virginia is one of those teams that, I mean, they've got Wake Forest, Duke, and Virginia Tech left, and they're currently the highest ACC team at 14. It's like there's not a whole lot of opportunity to move up for them. There's not like a big win on the schedule that could really vault them into the like firmly into the playoff. As you look at it right now, it does trend towards whoever wins the conference is going to be the only team that goes. But, a lot of football between now and then.
It felt like the committee told the ACC they don't think they're very good with the initial rankings.
And I mean, I was one of them, but I know a lot of people, it felt like Clemson was the easiest check mark for the playoffs, right? The ACC, it's crazy.
Things
Life
can
comes
change
at you
quickly.
fast. Yep.
Things can change quickly. One thing that clearly stands out about the initial rankings, no group of 5 team. Nowhere to be found in the ranking. I guess they keep ranking the teams until they get to a group of 5 team that's ranked. And you saw all the initial brackets and what it would look like. Like Memphis is that team they have slotted as the group of 5 team. But it's starting to feel dumber and dumber that the group of 5 gets a spot in this thing. I'm just going to say, you're not even in the initial ranking, and we're giving you a spot. I don't know. I went through the exercise, and clearly I have my bias as an OU guy. But would I rather watch Texas or OU or Memphis in the first round of the playoff?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Isn't there a cutoff though? Like if there's not a team, what's the exact rule?
No,
it's just the highest ranked.
A group of 5 team has to make the playoff. And remember, this all goes back to the NCAA not getting sued or the college football playoff, whoever runs this thing now. That's the whole point. From what I understand, it's kind of an antitrust thing. So they get their spot, but it feels really silly that the team that is slotted to get the spot isn't even ranked in the first in like the initial ranking. It feels stupid.
Yeah. I thought I remembered that they had to be like in the top 25 or something to be.
No, that would make
eligible.
sense though. That would I think that's a rule that I would love for them to implement, but no. A group of 5 team has to make it.
There's going to be a good football team that doesn't, and
it might be us, and that's going to be upsetting.
Yeah. Yep.
I will say, last thought on the initial rankings. The 12-team playoff is awesome. The conversations it leads to are so much better than the BCS, so much better than the 14 playoff. I was with the group last night watching them. And by the way, I was a hero because I was the only one that wasn't a YouTube TV person. Pulled up the ESPN app, airplayed it to the TV. I was the man, Ted.
Nice.
But the conversations that took place as the rankings were being revealed, it's a lot of fun, man. I think I really like the 12-team playoff. I don't know if we're going to 16 in the next version, but the 12-team is great. One of my big takeaways is get rid of the group of 5, get in a bid. It's starting to feel really, really silly to me.
I will say I have no problem with the group of 5 team making it if the resume and the team is good enough. I've got no problem.
I'm with you there. Absolutely. Completely agree.
There's got to be some type of cutoff though. But you're right. It doesn't matter if you're sitting there watching the playoff rankings with a group of 5 people or 10 or 100, you're going to have 5 or 10 or 100 different opinions on what it should look like. It is pretty fun. It's great content. And December 1st is the cutoff, right? For next year's playoff format?
Yeah.
Or the 12 team goes through?
They'll figure it out. It's very college football to wait to the last month before the deadline to figure out what the most like the most pivotal thing in the sport is, the structure for it. Yeah, they'll figure it out in the last month. It's fine.
Yeah, well, if it's trending towards a group of 5 team that's not in the top 25 making it in, they'll probably change something.
Yeah.
If that's maybe why they'll wait as long as they can to see if something truly is broken, I guess.
If the SEC only gets 4 teams in because Memphis gets the spot instead of OU or Texas, I expect Greg Sankey to raise hell.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. All fans can make all the arguments and complaints they want, but the only thing that really moves the needle is money. And if you've got a fringe, not very good, shouldn't be in Memphis team that makes the playoff instead of a huge fan base like a Oklahoma or a Texas or whoever that might be, it's just like they're not going to win a championship. They have no chance. They're going to be one and done. Like, what are we doing? We're taking a lot of money off the table because of viewership and interest whenever you do something like that. So I mean, if anything will change the opinion, it'll be that.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, and it's just to prove a point. Who is the starting quarterback for Texas?
Arch Manning.
Who is the starting quarterback for Oklahoma?
It's Mateer.
Who is the starting quarterback for Memphis?
Don't know.
His name is Brendan Lewis, and the only reason I know that is because I happened to watch one of their games a couple weeks ago. That's the point, though. You've got, in OU and Texas, you've got 2 of the most recognizable people in the entire sport at the quarterback position. In Memphis, I don't know, there is a small percentage of the population of college football fans, like even the biggest diehards, can't tell you anything about Memphis's team.
Or probably what conference they're even in.
They're in the American, by the way, if you're out there going, what conference are they in? They're the American. And they're a good football team. And I'm a big fan of their head coach. I'm not like, I think Memphis is really good. But like you mentioned, Ted, this is a business. And if Memphis ends up taking the spot instead of a Texas or an Oklahoma with these huge brands, with big marquee players in the sport, I can't imagine that's going to make ESPN super happy about the structure of this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll see how it unfolds. I mean, it's early, but yeah, somebody is going to be upset. You hope it's not going to be you whenever everything sorts its way out.
All right, let's have a little fun with what I'm calling the Sooner Nation rooting guide.
Okay.
Basically, what is OU's path to the college football playoff? Who should we cheer for? Who should we cheer against? But first, download the Loves app from Love's Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with a discount on fuel, 10 cents off on every gallon of gas, and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Love's restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Love's, the heart of the highway.
Steaks are back. Didier Ranch's luxury steak cuts are restocked and ready to ship straight to your door. From mouth-watering ribeyes to silky smooth fillets, this is the best beef Oklahoma has to offer. And here's the kicker. They're now shipping next day air for free when you use code SOONER at checkout. That's right. Next day air like Amazon Prime, but for steak. Didier Ranch delivers taste and tradition the luxurious way. Order today at DidierRanch.com and get your steaks just in time for the holidays.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and proud official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Guys, it's November in Norman, and that means 2 more home football games where you can grab Simple Modern's limited edition, brand new design drinkware that's only available in the stadium. These also make the perfect holiday gift for every Sooner fan in your life, especially for those who can't make it to a game. I'm telling you, it's the perfect way to cheer on the Sooners. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, time for the Sooner Nation rooting guide. And we'll focus mainly on this weekend, but also a little bit of big picture. This is what is best for OU to make the college football playoff. Now, clearly winning out solves all the problems. If you are a 10-2 team with this schedule, you're hosting a playoff game in Norman. I think that is very fair to say. Like, I think we'd be hosting a playoff game in Norman. So that discussion really is pointless. The discussion that gets more interesting and is more intriguing to me is, okay, what if OU goes 9-3? And the conversation starts here, Ted. What's the best combination for OU the rest of the way if they're going to go 9-3? Am I crazy to think winning in Tuscaloosa and then losing a close one to Missouri at home is the best 9-3 path for OU? Or is it lose a close one in Tuscaloosa, like last play of the game, late field goal, and then blow Missouri out at home? Like, because part of me feels like winning in Tuscaloosa would carry a lot of weight with the committee. What do you think? I've been going back and forth on it, man.
I think you got to win your biggest and best games. And I do think that beating Alabama is going to would carry a lot. But man, it feels like the later you lose, the harder it is to make it, you know? With that being said, you have to win the games that you're expected to win. And if you lose a game you're expected to lose, but do so on the road, play good, it's tight, and it's in the balance late. I mean, how much can you get docked for losing a game against a team that you technically should lose to? So I would say losing to Alabama, I think, is probably best. But gosh, I don't know.
That's why it's a fun conversation, right?
I know it.
Once again, going 10-2, boring conversation. We're in. But 9-3, maybe the best case scenario is you lose to Bama in overtime in Tuscaloosa, and then you turn around and you beat the brakes off Mizzou. And I think when I look at the rankings, a part of me thinks the committee is still looking at OU's offense and going, I'm
sure.
So I think the key would be the offense goes and plays well. You lose in a high-scoring affair in Tuscaloosa where the offense shows something. Now, I hope our defense doesn't just get destroyed by Ty Simpson in that offense. That's not what I'm saying, but I think the most important thing for OU, if this team is going to make the playoff as a 9-3 team, which feels like an outside shot right now, but it's possible. It feels like the offense needs to show some more consistency because right now you're hearing all the biggest voices in the sport. Every time they talk about OU, they talk about how the offense, frankly, they don't think it's very good. Whether it's Joe Klatt, Kurt Herbstreit, like all these people, that's one thing that comes up consistently with this team is the lack of consistency offensively.
Yeah, I agree. I would say, like, you just can't lose the last one against LSU.
Yes, no. We're toast if that happens.
Yeah, you you want to have a good impression going in. You don't want that to be the last memory for people with you. So yeah, I don't know, dude. It's still fascinating though. I mean,
How about this? When you talk about the best case scenario for OU to make it at 9-3, Missouri beats A&M this weekend.
yes.
We next weekend we lose a close one to Bama in Tuscaloosa, and then Missouri comes to Norman and we stomp them. Is that the
Yep.
best combo for 9-3?
I think so. It's crazy though, like
Well, go Missouri then. I think I don't know, dude.
yeah. What's wild is, whenever the first playoff ranking comes out, like there's 3 games left. And up to this point, you feel like, okay, we know who everyone is. But, dude, I mean, Georgia and Texas play. And you feel like right now, oh, Georgia's good. Well, things can change rather quickly if Georgia loses that game. If A&M loses to Missouri, if Alabama loses to Oklahoma, like because it feels like, well, it's A&M and Alabama are going to play in the SEC championship. But dude, if college football's taught us anything, we know that there's no telling at this point. And I think that the margins are so tight. Like, I don't think it's crazy that A&M goes and loses to Missouri. That's
No.
not crazy at all.
And that's the thing. Let's get to the rooting guide. And the SEC, let's start with the SEC because that's the most confusing or unclear for me what we want. As OU fans, like, who do we want to play in the SEC championship game? Do we want A&M to just run the table and go undefeated and make that nice and clean? Or do we want them to fall apart? Do we want the SEC championship game to be the 2 teams that we lost to, Ole Miss and Texas? Yeah, now Ole Miss needs some help, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, that's where you look at Ole Miss. They've got the Citadel, Florida, and at Mississippi State left. They've got a great chance of being a 1-loss team.
Yep.
So that's where I'm trying to figure out, who do we want to win and who do we want to lose in the SEC?
Do we want Texas to win out?
Yes. Okay. We all know we're never going to cheer for Texas, but hear me out. Texas has a bye this weekend. We need Texas to win out or to fall apart.
Yep.
They're at Georgia.
They're like, we're either competing for a spot or we're hooked to them,
100%. We need them to finish 10-2 or 8-4. The absolute worst case scenario for OU is for Texas to finish 9-3.
Yep. And we're both sitting there.
And we're both sitting there at 9-3. And remember, this is a conversation. If OU's 10-2, we're all good. We're in. But if OU finishes 9-3 and Texas is 9-3, we all know how that's going to go. You look at the head-to-head, Texas beat us handily. They're in, we're out. So we need Texas to be 10-2 and playing for an SEC championship, or we need them to lose to Georgia and lose to A&M and be 8-4.
Yep.
There's no in between. 9-3 Texas is a disaster for Oklahoma.
That's right. That's right. It's crazy, man. It's gonna be fun. Like, I love it with the playoff rankings coming out at this time. I mean, it builds the tension towards the end of the season perfectly. I love it.
A&M at Missouri this weekend. We already talked through it. Like, we're cheered for Missouri. Do we really care? We've got to beat them anyways. Do we just want A&M to win out? Because it does, like, if A&M drops a couple here late, like a 10-2 A&M with losses at Missouri and at Texas, feels like they're getting in over 9-3 us, even though they lost late. I guess it depends on how those losses would unfold for A&M, but part of me thinks we should just want A&M to go 11-1 with a loss to Missouri, and then that allows us the opportunity to beat a Missouri team that beat them.
That would be, I think that would be the best scenario, because Missouri is what right now 22, and if they beat A&M, I mean, where do you think they would end up being? We think they'd be 15 higher.
They would definitely significantly jump, because I think they're being held back by the fact that their starting quarterback got hurt.
Yeah.
If Zollers goes out there and he just lights that A&M defense up, there's no doubt the committee will be looking at that team differently.
Yeah.
So that's why this conversation's so interesting, man. Like the LSU at Bama game. It feels like we want Bama to finish 10-2 with losses to us in the opener versus Florida State. I think that'd make them 7-1 in SEC play.
Or the other part is if they lose to LSU, which, I mean, I don't know, like LSU, new coach, a coach that doesn't sound like a lot of people in the building liked. They had the bye week. I mean, we've seen teams come out of there and give you that one game burst. I think, are you rooting for LSU to beat them and then you can go eliminate them yourself?
I don't know.
But then we're back in the 10-2 conversation at that point.
Yes.
You know, so
yeah.
Then
really we're back in the 10-2. But that's I think the Vandy piece of this weekend, when it comes to the rooting guide for OU fans, I feel like we want Vandy to be 9-2 going into their game at Tennessee on November 29th, and then we want Tennessee to win that game.
Yep.
Or do we just want to get Vandy out of the picture and we want Auburn to beat them this weekend and give them a third loss? I don't really know. I think Vandy being good, when they go to Tennessee and Tennessee beats them, is good for OU, since we went and beat Tennessee in Knoxville.
Agree.
So go Vandy.
Go Vandy.
It feels like we want Alabama, Ole Miss. Remember, in the 9-3 scenario, our best case scenario, where OU loses a close one in Tuscaloosa and then smacks Mizzou, it feels like we want Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas to finish as high as possible.
Yep.
And of those three, it feels like Texas is the only option when you look at the remaining schedule. They're really the only team realistically that can finish 8-4.
Yeah.
Which we need Texas to be 10-2 or 8-4. Can't have them as be 9-3.
Nope. Can't have them be 9-3.
So that's the SEC, Ted. You want to hit the other power conferences real quick?
Yeah, I guess did we come out of there with a definitive guide?
I don't think so. I think Texas, if your losses are to Texas, Bama, and Ole Miss, you want those teams doing as well as possible.
Right. Yep.
I think.
The other thing
you
that I look
need
at
the
is
SEC to be a 5-bid league, and you're going to be the 5th team.
The other part of it that I worry about, and I don't know that the committee ever looks at this or talks about this, but you know, I always look at it whenever I'm talking about other teams across the country. Well, if all your losses are to playoff teams, what's the point you being in the playoff? You know, like that's where the bar is, and you've proven that you're not good enough to beat those teams. But, you know, teams go up and down throughout the season. So
get your stupid logic out of here, Lehman. But I do think as far as the SEC picture and who OU fans should be cheering for, the Texas-Georgia game's the key. If Texas wins that game, we got to cheer for Texas to win out.
Yep.
If Texas loses that game, we got to cheer for Texas to fall apart. And if Texas wins that game, we got to cheer for Georgia to fall apart
Yep.
because we need the SEC to be a 5-bid league and get in as that 15.
Yep.
Remember, this is the 9-3 scenario. 10-2,
Right.
we're good. I'll clarify that throughout this process. But looking at the other Power 4 leagues, as far as the rooting guide, we need the Big 12 and the ACC to be one big bid leagues. So looking at the ACC, it feels like they're on track to be a one bid league. So we want all the teams at the top of the ACC to lose.
Yep.
We want Syracuse to beat Miami. Just put a nail in that coffin.
Yep.
Give them their third loss. We want Virginia to lose to Wake Forest. And Virginia's got Duke and Virginia Tech left after that. We do not want Virginia getting to the ACC championship game with only one loss because then they're probably in no matter what. 9-3 Oklahoma, unlikely getting in over 11-1 Virginia, no matter what happens in that ACC championship game.
Yep.
Cows at Louisville. Hey, let's go Bears. Golden Bears. Come on, boys. Let's get it done. Because Louisville's right in the mix. And they've got Clemson at SMU and Kentucky left. Georgia Tech's got a bye, but then they're at Boston College. They've got Pitt and Georgia left. As far as I can tell, we want all the teams at the top of the ACC to just lose somehow, some way.
Yep.
Does that seem right?
I think so. I mean, I think that's the most realistic because, I mean, you can open up a bunch of different scenarios, but, I think those are the weakest teams and maybe stand the easiest chance of dropping games like that,
Maybe we went through way too much and it's just, hey, the ACC, whoever wins that championship game's getting in, and that's it.
Yep.
But Georgia Tech beating Boston College, beating Pitt, beating Georgia, and getting to an ACC championship game at 11-1 against an 11-1 Virginia is the disaster scenario for OU.
Yep. That's right.
Can't have that.
No.
Can't have that.
God, can you imagine missing out on the playoff to a 2-loss Virginia team?
Pain.
Who right now their biggest win is, I guess, Louisville. They won at Louisville. They beat Florida State early. That's turned into nothing. But
the one interesting thing about Virginia is their losses to NC State, who is in their conference, but they are undefeated in conference play. Because that was not considered a conference game because college football.
That is interesting.
Let's move on to the Big 12. Now, the Big 12, looking back at the initial rankings, they're in a solid position to be a 2-bid league. Who do we want to win BYU at Tech this weekend? I kind of have it mapped out in my head how I want everything to go, but I'm interested in what you think. And we're going to preview this game because it's a huge game this weekend.
BYU?
I'm fine with that. I think, but that does set up a disastrous scenario where BYU is an 11-1 or an undefeated team, and they make the Big 12 championship game, and there's a rematch against Tech, and then Tech beats them.
Well,
and Tech's in, and then you're not keeping out a BYU team that went 12-0 in the regular season with their only loss being in a conference championship game. So remember, we want the Big 12 to be a one-bid league. That's the best thing for OU.
That's what I'm saying is, I think that if BYU loses, they're probably both getting in, or right? I mean, do you
if Tech beats BYU, that does set up the scenario where we get an 11-1 Tech versus an 11-1 BYU in the Big 12 championship game, which would not be good for OU because then both of those teams are likely in.
so I guess that's my reasoning to say you want BYU to give Tech 2 losses and like hopefully beat them again. Would they be in the could Tech still make the championship and then beat them again to give Tech 3 losses and they're done? I mean, is
that's the thing is, and I'm just kind of looking at what I think is the most likely to help OU. I think everyone pretty much around the country doesn't think BYU's actually that good, and they think Texas Tech is the best team in the Big 12.
right?
So BYU's going into this game this weekend undefeated. They've got TCU at Cincinnati and UCF after that. I think that game at Cincinnati, they're much more likely to lose that game than Texas Tech is to lose to UCF or West Virginia.
That's true.
I think we want Tech to win the game. And then we need BYU to catch another loss. And it's at Cincinnati feels like that spot.
And then you want Tech to win the
And then
Big
Tech
12
wins the Big 12 championship game. And if it's the rematch with BYU, then that would give you BYU its third loss. And I don't think the committee actually thinks BYU's very good.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati in the mix for the Big 12 championship game. But they play BYU, so obviously someone's got to lose that game.
Yep.
But they're not in the initial ranking at all. So I think the committee is kind of telling you how they feel about Cincinnati.
Yeah, and Cincinnati has Arizona, BYU, and at TCU left. And like those are all games that they can lose all three of those games.
Yeah.
Possibility.
I think for OU to make the playoff as a 9-3 team, the best case scenario in the Big 12 is Texas Tech beats BYU this weekend and Tech finishes 11-1 and goes and wins the Big 12 championship game over a 10-2 Cincinnati team that beat BYU.
Yeah. We need if we're a 9-3 team, we want the ACC and the Big 12 to be one bid teams or one bid leagues. However, it'd be nice for Notre Dame to lose too.
Yes, that is on the rooting guide. And this shouldn't be hard for Sooner Nation. Cheer against Notre Dame.
Yep.
Navy at Pitt, which is going to be a really tough game.
Navy's good too.
Navy, yeah. But Notre Dame
they play the option stuff every year.
Yeah, they kind of smack. Now all the respect in the world to the troops, but Notre Dame, they get after the troops. Feels like every season now.
Yep.
They got the triple option defense dialed in a bit there in South Bend.
It's definitely an advantage to play teams like that on a yearly basis.
So they've got Navy at Pitt, Syracuse, and at Stanford. It would be absolutely hilarious for Stanford to beat them in the last game of the year to knock them out of the playoff. That would that would bring me great joy. But yes, OU fans, muster the courage to cheer against Notre Dame. So that brings us to the last conference that we need to figure out what we want to happen, and that's the Big Ten, Ted. For OU to make it as a 9-3 team, we want the Big Ten to be a 3-bid league. And now let's have this conversation. Like, what's the easiest path to that? I think it's clear. OU just wants Indiana and Ohio State to keep rolling and go undefeated and to play each other in the Big Ten championship game. So this weekend, you're cheering for Indiana against Penn State. You're cheering for Ohio State to smash Purdue because those two teams are going to be in when you look at their remaining schedules. I don't think we want anyone beating those teams and entering into the conversation and possibly making the Big Ten a 4-bid league like Michigan. Michigan's going to be 9-2 going into the Ohio State game on November 29th. And even though we beat Michigan, we want Michigan to lose that game and be a 3-loss team because then they're 9-3. And if OU's 9-3, you look at the head-to-head, we beat them. It's nice and clean. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless someone was to fall apart. I mean, they got a tough remaining schedule.
Yes.
They're at Iowa, Minnesota at home, who's pretty good, USC, and then at Washington. And all of those teams are pretty good. Washington 6-2, USC 6-2, Minnesota is 6-3, and Iowa is 6-2. Like that's a tough 4 games, and I'm not sure what Oregon is at this point. I don't know how to view them necessarily.
I think the committee agrees with you. That's why they came in at number 9.
Yeah.
Now, as far as making it as easy as possible for OU fans, if you want the Big Ten to only be a 3-bid league, I feel like the easiest thing to do is cheer for Indiana, cheer for Ohio State, and then cheer for Oregon. Because like you mentioned it, they're kind of the key here. If they just roll through the rest of their schedule, the Big Ten's only a 3-bid league.
Yep.
Because that means they would knock Washington out of the picture, knock USC out of the picture, knock Iowa out of the picture, who are all kind of lurking on the fringe, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the easiest thing is like we become big Oregon fans.
How much would it help if Michigan, how much would it help our cause if Michigan won out? Like the view of our team.
I think it would be helpful and extremely hurtful.
Right. Like
because remember, Oregon and Michigan
wins out, you want Oregon to fall apart.
That's yes. If Michigan wins out, you need Oregon to absolutely collapse.
Be a 3-loss team which if they are a 3-loss team and they lose 2 out of their last 4, I don't think that they would be in over Oklahoma because they wouldn't have like a great win, I guess, necessarily.
You need USC, Iowa, and Washington all to get a 3rd loss. See, that's why I think like just if you want to make it nice and clean and simple, go Ducks. Right. Go Ducks.
We want Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon to be the clear 3 teams, and everyone else fall apart and beat each other.
Yeah, it's like this weekend, Washington at Wisconsin. Now Wisconsin feels like the program's dead, but it'd be great if they could beat Washington and hand them a 3rd loss,
It's crazy that I was talking about, we were going through on the radio show that we were going through some of the playoff, like what people projected the playoff to be. And there was a couple of them that had Washington in. And I was surprised by that. Like we need, we need some of those teams to fall apart and be out of the fight for sure.
Washington could be in trouble. Did you see the alcohol sales thing?
No.
So I saw Big Cat tweeting about this. So there was some reporting done by Matt Brown, who I don't know if you do his newsletter and stuff, but he does all kinds of great stuff. I think it's called Extra Points. But he came out with an initial list of who's selling the most booze at games in college football.
Mm-hmm.
And Wisconsin was in the lead by a lot, dude.
Yeah.
But then he came out earlier today and said, I deeply regret to inform all of you that my original story had the wrong data for Wisconsin. And Wisconsin's all the way down at like 7 now. And so I feel like Wisconsin fans are going to try to prove a point, and that place is going to be crazy. And Washington may be walking into the most hostile environment imaginable. A bunch of Badgers fans trying to prove that they actually drink the most. That's a scary thought, Ted.
You know, it's a counterintuitive thing that the worse Wisconsin's football team is, the less they drink.
They're at 8. They came the initial reporting was they were number 1 by a wide margin. He got new data from the school, and they're at 8 on the list now. So that entire stadium at Camp Randall, they're going to be trying to prove a point.
They're going to go from 8 to 1. Sales are starting today. That's funny.
Like Northwestern at USC this weekend. Go Northwestern.
Right.
We want the teams at the top of the Big Ten to accumulate losses that aren't, Indiana and Ohio State are in at this point.
Lincoln Riley's already set himself up complaining about their schedule. Did you see that? The little dig that they've got to
go
shocked. Back home and play on a Friday against Northwestern. Oh my gosh, how brutal of a schedule that is. Man, they really did you guys wrong. Unbelievable.
Do we think we established a rooting guide for OU fans? That was the point of this. I'm not sure we did a good job.
I think ultimately you want as much of it to kind of like the teams that are there, you kind of want those teams to win out to some degree, right?
Yeah,
right.
I think ultimately the main points for OU fans as far as who to root for and against is root against Notre Dame.
Yep.
And then however the ACC and Big 12 can be one big bid leagues, that's what you want. And then root for the Big Ten to only have 3.
Yep.
Which it feels like the cleanest way to do that is go Hoosiers, go Buckeyes, go Ducks.
Yeah. If the ACC and Big 12 are one bid leagues, and
that's really hard to say, by the way. One bid leagues.
It is.
I think I'm just going to change it to we want the ACC to only get one team in.
One team leagues. If ACC and Big 12 are one team leagues and Notre Dame loses, that opens up a bunch of possibilities for all kinds of scenarios for you to get in. Like that takes a bunch of the low-hanging fruit off.
Yeah. I think that was helpful. Great job, Ted.
We muddied the water pretty good on that, I think.
Our listeners will let us know. They typically let us know if it was good or not. So I'm interested to see what they think. But there is your Sooner Nation rooting guide for the weekend and kind of big picture for the OU to make the playoff at 9-3. Reminder, went out and 10-2, and you don't have to worry about a thing.
You are good. We'll be talking about who we're hosting.
All right, let's preview the best games of Week 11 of college football. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
With ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch Marys, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubdub.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
All right, time to preview the best games of Week 11 of college football, and let's start in Como. Texas A&M travels to take on Missouri. What, number 3? Texas A&M travels to take on number 22, Missouri. This is 2:30 on ABC. Currently, the Texas A&M Aggies are a 6.5-point favorite over Missouri. I think we established we want Missouri to win this game.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think they can. I mean, Texas A&M, I believe, is more talented. They've played really well. But, I still think that there's like a big hiccup factor with A&M still, in my opinion. Marcel Reed has played – he's played really good. He's done some really nice things. But, there's still that does he make those big mistakes? Is he going to have some critical turnovers? Their offense can go dormant from time to times, and you're still wondering like if that's going to be the case. And I think even though Missouri lost their quarterback, the good thing about what they do is like they have a great foundation on offense. You kind of know exactly what you're going to get from Missouri week in, week out. Now, Prebula was a playmaker and did some really nice things for them. It is a big loss, but they can lean on some foundational pieces of their offense, their run game, and their defense has just been really solid across the board. So, yeah, I mean, I think A&M wins it, but it's one of those where I expect it to be a fourth quarter game and anything can happen.
Yeah, I think you look at this game. Both teams are coming off a bye. Missouri's the desperate team, and they're the desperate team playing at home. And Texas A&M, they've given up some points when they've gone on the road.
Yeah,
But they gave up 40, should have been 41 to Notre Dame.
mm-hmm.
Gave up 42 to Arkansas. But I think the formula for Missouri making this thing really interesting is pretty simple. Like, run it well with Ahmad Hardy and all of the outside zone stuff. Put Zollers in good down and distances to play in, and then, like, control time of possession. And when Marcel Reed puts it up for grabs, which he will a couple times a game, you got to make him pay for it.
Yep.
The guy will take some risks with the ball. And it feels like a game that Missouri needs to be +2 in the turnover margin and like have an 8 to 10 minute advantage in time of possession. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of game. That's what the game script has to look like in my mind for Missouri to make this thing really interesting and possibly win it, Ted.
Yeah. And I think, like, for me, one of the critical things is you want to muck this game up. You want it to be a low scoring football game. And when it's a higher scoring game, I think Marcel Reed kind of gets in his zone where he can play make and play loose and play free. But in those tighter games, I think that's where he can maybe get frustrated and try and force some things, and that's where you can take advantage of him.
It does feel like it would be extremely beneficial for Missouri to just make this a game of like red zone roulette defensively. One thing you can't do, and I think Missouri's defense is solid. So that defensive front they've got is good. I'm excited to watch the matchup between that Missouri defensive line, like Zion Young and that group go against that Texas A&M offensive line. That's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But the one thing you can't do if you're Mizzou's defense is give up the huge plays down the field to Concepcion and Craver. That cannot happen in this game. Like, make Marcel Reed go operate in the high red, low red, and throw the ball into smaller windows.
Totally
like that's
agree.
That's what Mizzou has to accomplish defensively. You cannot give up the 40-yard, 50-yard type of plays in this game. You just can't. That can't happen if you want to be in it at the end of the fourth.
Totally agree. Totally agree. They feast off the big playmakers. I mean, you look at that LSU game. That LSU game was really tight. What LSU was leading at half, right? And then A&M came out and the big plays just that's where they really turned into the best version of themselves. I agree with you 100%.
Say what you want about Drinkwitz, but Missouri's not going to fold in the second half like LSU did in that game.
Nope.
I don't think I think he's done a good job of building that program and establishing a group that's going to fight for 4 quarters. So I'm really excited to watch this game. Now, I'm going to take A&M minus 6.5. I think the Aggies are a touchdown better than Missouri. I think the explosive plays they can produce offensively, it's hard for me to imagine Zollers, even though he looked really solid when he stepped in against Vandy when Prabula went down. Like, he's had an extra week to prepare, but still, that's a tough spot for a freshman quarterback. Ted Cassius Howell is lurking.
He's good now.
I think A&M's better, so I'll lay the 6.5, thinking A&M walks out of there with a touchdown win.
Yeah, I think it's probably a 3-point advantage to A&M in the fourth quarter. Missouri has some late opportunities, can't cash them in, and then A&M puts the icing on the cake to win by, 10 or so. But a tight game, but they cover. Kind of like what I think we're in the same ballpark.
I just want to be entertained.
Yep.
And reminder, go Missouri. I think.
Yeah.
Do you like it enough to make it one of your battle bets?
No.
Me neither. Reminder, go to battlebets.app/OK Breakdown to join the Oklahoma Breakdown Battle Bets League. Fake bets on college football, spreads, over-unders, money lines, props. You're competing against us and all the other listeners. Battle Bets is giving $250 of real money per week to weekly winners and $500 of real money to the leader of the league at the end of this week. Fake money bets, and you can win real money. It's awesome. Battlebets.app/OK Breakdown to download the free app and join our league today. We've got the biggest game of the season in the Big 12 Conference. Clearly, huge college football playoff implications. Number 7 BYU travels to take on number 8 Texas Tech. This is your 11 a.m. game on ABC, and currently Texas Tech is a 10.5-point favorite. Whoa. That's why, going back to our rooting guide conversation, I think everyone, including the odds makers, think that Texas Tech is head and shoulders the best team in the Big 12. And it feels like for OU's sake, you want Texas Tech to just roll through the rest of the schedule, make the playoff as the Big 12 champion with one loss, and you need BYU to fall apart. And them falling apart starts in this game.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Why do they think Texas Tech is so good?
I think the argument right now is just they spent all the money on the transfer portal players. That defensive front is for real. That defense as a whole is playing at a really high level. And the only game that they lost was on the road to Arizona State without their starting quarterback. When Baron Morton has played, they put up numbers offensively. Yeah. And even though Will Hammond, I think a lot of people think, hey, he's solid.
Good against Utah. Yeah.
Yeah. But they've been a different animal with Morton at quarterback. And he's back and healthy and ready to roll for this game. So I think it's an overall talent thing, Ted. Like, they have invested heavily in the roster, and I think everyone just thinks they're way more talented than anyone else in the league. Then you get hey, this one's in Lubbock. Now it's an 11 a.m. game. BYU caught a break that this isn't a 6:30 kickoff and things getting real weird, but You know how those Tech people are. They will find a way to be nice and lubed up for the 11 a.m. kick. I'm not worried
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah. Well, I'll be watching for flying tortillas in that one, see if they penalize themselves. But I don't feel good. I don't think Tech is as good as people are suggesting they are. It does feel like BYU is like operating on some momentum and like lightning in a bottle to some degree, and it just feels like they're going to run out of whatever that is at some point. I'll take Tech to win the game, but I don't think they cover.
That's a big number, man.
Big number.
I I was really impressed with what they did to Kansas State last weekend. They went to Manhattan and thumped a Kansas State team that had a lot of momentum going into that game.
Yep.
That was impressive for me. It feels like if BYU is going to want to if they're going to stay close, if they're going to possibly win the game, they kind of just have to grind it to a halt.
Mm-hmm.
Shorten the game with LJ Martin, who's banged up but good to go for this game. Shorten the game with that running game with him and what Bear Bachmeier can do with his legs. And you limit the possessions. Make that Tech offense sit on the sideline and get a little antsy and uncomfortable. If Bachmeier's got to drop back 40 times in this one, it's not going to go well for BYU, even though I think Roberts, Kingston, Ryan at tight end, like they got a nice group of skill guys. But I think that scenario, like David Bailey and that defensive line for Tech, they're teeing off, and Bachmeier's going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
It is a potential legend is born game for Bear Bachmeier, though. He's already got his team undefeated.
Yeah.
He's wearing 47. If he goes to Lubbock and win, watch out now.
Yeah. And this is, I know the Utah game was a big deal, but now you're in the big time, right? Top 10 matchups, and game day, like all eyes are going to be on this football game. And yeah, I think you're right. If they're able to go in and pull off something special, legend is born, for sure.
BYU's offense is one of my favorite offenses in college football because they get under center, they run zone, they run true play action pass. It's beautiful. It's something to behold. But I think they're going to struggle to move it consistently against Tech's defense, who has been very solid. And I think BYU's just going to struggle to match the explosiveness of Tech's offense because don't forget, BYU's secondary is beat up, man. And I think Morton in that passing game, I think they're going to attack that secondary relentlessly.
And they're a big play offense. They score off of big plays constantly. And Bear Morton's been really solid for him.
I think BYU's walking into a buzzsaw in this game. I think they're going to get blown out. Give me Tech minus 10.5. I hate laying a number that big.
Yeah.
But I just don't like how it's lining up. Now, one thing to factor is like BYU they don't get blown out.
Just find a way. Yep.
BYU, the last time they lost by more than 7 points was November 11th of 2023.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, but this feels like a critical game for Joey McGuire and his future there, and just for this program as a whole, everything they invested in this season. I don't know. It just feels like an avalanche is coming BYU's direction. And I think this is like a statement game for Texas Tech. I think it gets away from the Cougars.
It is, and it could. I mean, I think if Tech jumps up on them early, like to your point, then they could run away with it. I'm going on strictly that I still don't think either team is all that great all the way around. I mean, I know Tech poured the money in, their defense has played well, but I don't know. Maybe I've got too many thoughts of what Tech has always been, and it's clouding my judgment here. But I'll take BYU to cover.
They are. Can I break your brain real quick?
Yes, please.
Texas
It was
Tech.
already broken during the rooting guide, but
We're still recovering.
yeah.
BYU is a team that wants to run the football with L.J. Martin and with Bear Bachmeier. They will be going up against the number one rush defense in college football in Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I think it's like 74, 75 yards a game.
Mm.
Texas Tech, the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, have the number one rush defense in college football. Just let that marinate for a few seconds. It's hard to fathom, man.
I know. It is wild. But, credit them. You spend money on the line of scrimmage, and it'll show up for you. And they've done that, especially on the defensive side.
So it sounds like you're taking BYU in the points, and I'll lay them with Tech. We're split on this one.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I like my position. I'm putting my faith in the people of Lubbock. I think it's going to be.
Say that again to yourself.
You know what? Let's move on. LSU travels to take on number 4 Alabama. This is your primetime ABC 6:30 kick. Bama is currently a 9.5-point favorite. Clearly, we're going to have close eyes on this game because we got the Crimson Tide next week in Tuscaloosa. But I don't know how to factor in how it seems like everyone hated Brian Kelly in Baton Rouge.
The Brian Kelly bump. What does LSU look like coming out of there?
Like, am I crazy to think we're going to see the best version of LSU in this game?
That's what I think.
And I know it's Alabama in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be a really tough environment. Like, I get that, but it sounds like everyone loathed the head coach, and you have removed that from the organization. So I don't know what the best version of LSU really looks like, but I think we're about to get the best version of LSU in this game.
Yeah, I agree. Now, what is the best version of LSU? I'm not exactly sure, but I think there's something to, get rid of the head coach. Someone else takes over. They change some things. They bring, like, what if someone's got fired? There wasn't a good feeling surrounding the program, right? And guys were coming into the facility, head down, not a good season. We've been a big disappointment. You make a change, and it just gives you a new life. And I know it's not easy going on the road against Alabama, but I definitely think LSU covers, and this may be one of those college football weekends where no one sees it, but here comes an incredibly talented team that everyone had picked really high, and for 1 week at least, they get it together and, perhaps make something special happen. I'm definitely taking the 9.5 points, though.
I'm with you. It's LSU Bama. I just think it's going to be a close game. I think that there's going to be a new energy for that LSU team. Now, that new energy isn't going to miraculously heal Garrett Nussmeier. Right. That guy it feels like he's being held together by bubblegum and paper clips at this point. But I think it comes down to which team can find some consistency in the run game. These are two teams that have struggled to run it efficiently basically all season long.
Yep.
So can the Tide get Jam Miller going? Can LSU get Durham or whoever going? Like, which team can run it consistently and stay on schedule and be in good and down distance situations? Like, I think that's going to play a huge role in this game. But if it comes down to quarterback play, that's a big advantage to Alabama right now.
Yeah.
With what we've seen from Ty Simpson and what we've seen from what appears to be a very banged up Garrett Nussmeier, Both teams got weapons all over the field at the skill spots. But, and I've said it before, there is no one playing the quarterback position at a higher level in college football than Ty Simpson. Now, does LSU have the guys in the back end to limit some of the explosives from Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams? Yeah. But if this comes down to which quarterback's better, who's throwing it around at a higher level, then I think this is a comfortable win for Bama. Like LSU has to be able to run it, Ted, and they've got a new play caller. So there's some mystery there, some uncertainty for what that Bama defense, like they're going to be, chasing some ghosts this week in game prep. But if Nussmeier's got to drop back 40 plus times, even with Anderson and Brown and Thomas and Trey Green, maybe the biggest tight end freak in the country, like I don't think that's the formula to make this thing interesting. Like they have to be able to run it a little bit.
How much does how Alabama looked against South Carolina weigh on you?
I think Alabama is gettable.
Yeah.
I think they're really good, but just like I think Georgia's gettable.
Yeah.
Like they still are extremely talented. Like A&M is gettable. We've seen all these teams lose, or in A&M's case, almost lose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone in the SEC just has there's not some giant talent gap between Bama and LSU.
No, I agree.
Alabama, this is going to sound stupid, but Alabama's going to have to play well to win this game. If they play their C-plus game, they're getting beat.
Yeah.
That's just kind of where the conference is at right now. And I think you saw that against South Carolina for Bama. I mean, if Lenore Sellers doesn't fumble late in that game, it's probably going to overtime. Or South Carolina's trying to set up to kick a game-winning field goal at the end of regulation. That's just where we're at in the SEC.
Yeah. I agree. That's why I got LSU covering, because I think it's going to be a similar game to that. You're going to get a boost from LSU coming out of the bye week, new play caller, new energy in the program, and I think Alabama's gettable. They've struggled in a bunch of different areas. I think LSU's defense can give them some problems. So I've got I don't know, 34-28 type of game, something like that. LSU covers.
34-28, 34-26. You know what I just remembered? I'm changing my pick. I'm laying it with Bama. I know there's a new energy. I know there's new vibes. But watching that team fold the way that it did against A&M,
hard to get out of your head.
If that's in your DNA, dude.
It's true.
Give me Bama. I'm laying the points with Bama. I'm flip-flopping.
Not a bad pick.
That second half was watching that thing unravel and some of the lack of effort. That's hard for me to forget, man. And It's in Tuscaloosa. Never mind. I'll take Bama. I'll lay the big number. I don't care. Once a folder, always a folder.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. Well, Alabama kind of did the same thing against Florida State right out of the gate, but they have given us a much better foundation of football since then. So I don't think that's a bad – I mean, I think LSU has to be in it early, and they have to come out of halftime with way more juice than they did in the A&M game. I mean, they were winning at halftime. So, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be good, though. I love – it's another good week for a bye week to watch some ball.
For sure. Now, this game doesn't have the sizzle that you thought it would have coming into the season, but it's still LSU Bama, man.
It might have some sizzle in the second half. It's one of those where right now, you look at the record next to LSU, and where the not being ranked and all of that stuff, it takes away from it. But if they're tight in the second half, it's going to feel like two top 10 teams going at it again.
For sure. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, wind, hail, tornadoes, and earthquakes are now year-round threats. And at the same time, homeowners insurance rates in Oklahoma are the highest in the entire country. Unfortunately, some insurance companies use deceptive and bad faith claim handling practices to deny or lower what little they pay out. Fortunately, one of the leading insurance bad faith attorneys in the country is a longtime Sooner and resides here in Oklahoma, Jeff Marr. The Marr Law Firm has represented more victims of tornado, storm, and earthquake damage than anyone in the Sooner State, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars for their clients. There's only one law firm to handle insurance companies, Marr Law Firm. And three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGinnis offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Gotta go OU men's hoops. Undefeated on the season. 1-0. Got the win over St. Francis, which I get it. That doesn't mean a whole lot. 102-66, but it was a 1-point game at half, and they got it together. But I'm really excited about, Nigel Pack hit 4 threes. Wagee came in and performed really well. He had 16. It was fun to see this team go out. And one of the stories, talking to Toby, Kuwal Attack, he hit 4 threes. He was 4 of 8. And I don't know if you've heard Toby talk about him, but he's had multiple coaches on the staff say that he is the best shooter they've ever seen. And also the best NBA prospect on the team. Problem, he is incredibly thin. Super skinny, but he's put on 20 pounds since last year. 6'9", 192, and they say his 3-point shooting is good or better than anyone they've seen. So he's a fun piece coming off the bench. And how much is he going to be able to factor in an SEC play? Can he defend? Are people going to come out and get physical with him? I don't know, but it's a fun little piece that doesn't get us a whole lot of attention compared to some of the other players on the roster. But, dude, it's shaping up to be a fun season for these guys. We've got size in the front court, which we haven't had. We've got a couple of really good scorers in Brown and Nigel Pack. So, I don't know, man. It's early, but I'm excited about this group.
I'm excited because Porter Moser seems excited.
Yeah.
That I think his excitement for the roster and for what this team can be, I think says a lot about the overall talent level on the team. But let's be real, man. We're going to find out a lot on Saturday night, right? At Gonzaga.
Yep.
What's that, 9:30 p.m. Saturday night? So as you crawl in bed as LSU Bama is ending, let's watch some Sooners basketball, shall we?
Let's do it. Top 25 team. That's going to be fun, man. Good early
that is, and it was fun to watch OU dismantle them in the second half. But that first half, you were going,
Yeah,
it's the first game of the year. It is what it is. But I'm excited to watch them play Gonzaga. We all know what that program is. Are they a top tier team this season, like we're used to Gonzaga being? Only time will tell. But it's going to be a tremendous test to see where this team is at. And I'm really excited to watch that game on Saturday night.
I agree. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully they can continue to build some momentum. I mean, I'm with you. Like Porter seems legitimately excited about this group. If they can stay healthy and avoid any type of serious injuries, could be pretty solid.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Well, I thought about going with Jayden Daniels. The ugly injury, hated seeing that, and I felt bad. I brought this on him because if people have listened to this podcast for a long time, they know that no matter what, my fantasy team every single year is doomed to the longest string of horrible injuries that you could ever see grouped. Like you could not possibly draft worse with worse luck than how it goes for me every single year. So I hated that. I hated to put that voodoo on Jayden Daniels. I apologize.
Elbows aren't supposed to bend that way, Ted.
No, no, they're
I
not.
As I was watching it, like as he started taking snaps on that drive, I out loud said to my wife, "Why is he still in the game?" She was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "He's coming back from injury. Like this game's over. They need to be careful. Like and especially the way he plays at times. I was like, they need to get him out of the game because he can be a little reckless at times."
Yeah,
And then Dan Quinn said, "Yeah, that's on me." After he shouldn't have been in the game, but it's
yeah.
a huge bummer for the NFL as a whole because he's incredibly fun to watch. He's the only reason to watch Washington currently, and now he's done for who knows how long.
Well, I saw something that said that they think there's a chance it could be back for the season. What? What season?
I What are they? They are. I mean, the season they're 3-6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
You want your franchise quarterback on the field, but you want him to be as healthy as possible. And now you got to start thinking if you're Washington, it's like, all right, you'll never get an NFL locker room to tank, but taking your time with Jayden Daniels' return is a good way to try to accumulate some losses if you're that organization.
that's right. Yeah, I we'll see what happens. Like, they're saying that, or I saw a report that said that, but I'd be surprised if that's the case.
It's a bummer, though.
Yeah, bummer. But I ended up going with Auburn. We didn't get a chance to talk about it Sunday. Hugh Freeze, done. I mean, there's got to be some sense of relief with Hugh Freeze, right? Like, how long can you be on the hot seat and have all of that around you? And it's just got to be a miserable existence. But hey, enter Auburn into the sweepstakes, right? Let's see where the chips fall. I don't know where all these teams are going to get these coaches from, but dude, it's not crazy to think that we could have maybe 6 or 7 new head coaches in the SEC next year, depending on if some guys leave and take other jobs. There's no guarantee that that happens, but obviously there's been a lot of chatter around Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss. There's been chatter around Drinkwitz leaving Missouri, and then you got the jobs that have opened up. LSU, Florida, Auburn, Arkansas. So it's going to be a crazy offseason in the SEC, man.
I think Auburn's fourth in the pecking order.
You know,
LSU,
I'm not sure.
Florida,
Yeah.
Penn State, Auburn.
I'm not so sure what the pecking order is anymore. I think like the history of your program and access to recruiting and all of that stuff, is always a big factor, but I mean, I think the biggest factor is how much money are they going to give you to spend on your roster, right? And how good of a setup are you going to have kind of from your for your front office, and how much resources are they going to dedicate to the talent acquisition part of it? So I think that's the biggest thing that makes you the best program. So if that's the key aspect, I don't know enough about how all those teams operate to know what the pecking order is. But if you go traditionally, I would say, yeah, that's probably right.
I do think Auburn is intriguing because the the standards feel very high, but I don't think it's quite the same as Florida and LSU and Penn State. I could be wrong, and the the politics of the Auburn job are interesting from some of the things we've heard over the years about the influential people behind the scenes there. But I don't know, you're following a disaster in Hugh Freeze. It doesn't feel like you're taking that job over and then people are expecting you to win the national championship in year one. I could be wrong, but I think Hugh Freeze went 2-16 against ranked teams.
And throughout had a bunch of really good players. That's the crazy thing is like you look at the roster right now for Auburn, and they've had like the biggest problem for Auburn has been they haven't been able to find a quarterback. Right. If they would have had a quarterback that can get it done and operate that offense, I'm not saying that they're winning the SEC or anything, but how many one score games, turnovers, costly, poor quarterback plays have cost them games over the last 2-3 years? It's been a ton. So, yeah, you can win there. We know that. You can win at Auburn. They constantly have NFL players on that roster. So I'm curious to see, but you go back to what the year looks like and all of the big jobs that are open. It's like, I don't know. There's going to be a bunch of fans more than anyone, bunch of fans that are not happy with who is going to end up coaching their team. Like Lane Kiffin's not going to coach 10 teams, right? There's going to be
Auburn is delusional if they think they're getting Kiffin.
No, I don't think
but
they do. Maybe
I want
to
correct. I wanted to correct the stat, and this comes from our buddy Max Olson. Hugh Freeze went 2-16. First team with winning records, not ranked teams. 2-16 versus teams with winning records during his tenure at Auburn. Those two wins, 2024 against Texas A&M in quadruple overtime.
Yeah.
And then 2025 against Baylor, who is currently now, I believe they're 5-4.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So it's, like I said, whether it's John Summerall, I saw Kenny Dillingham's name on a bunch of lists for this job. Don't like it. Don't do it, Auburn. Don't you do it.
I think Auburn is a better fit for him than LSU, just like the way I view the program. But yeah,
I would much prefer Kenny Dillingham at Auburn than LSU.
Yeah.
If we're getting him in this league, let Auburn have him. Do not let LSU get that guy. But it's John Summerall, Kenny Dillingham, Ryan Silverfield, who's the head coach, my guy there at Memphis. Dan Mullen is on here. Clark Lee. I don't think Clark Lee's going to leave Vandy, but yeah, it feels like everyone thinks John Summerall is their number one target, but we'll see.
Good coach.
No doubt. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, whether you're a guy that likes to clean shave every day or a bearded guy that just needs to line your neck and cheeks up, the Harry's Plus razor is the only way to go. The second you put this thing in your hand, you know it's nice. It's so heavy. The blades look amazing. You can just see and feel how luxurious this thing is. And when you shave with it, you feel like you're giving yourself a barbershop quality shave. It's Awesome. And maybe the best part is how affordable it is. Harry's controls their entire production process from steel to shelf, so they're able to keep costs low. And for a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/OKBreakdown. This set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, one refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head to harrys.com/OKBreakdown to claim this offer. And after your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Guys, it's time to make the switch to the Ridge wallet. Go to ridge.com and use promo code OKBreakdown at checkout for 10% off your order. The days of the super fat wallet that hurts to sit on are over. Make the switch to this sleek modern design that can hold up to 12 cards and cash. Love this little elastic band that the Ridge wallets have. And Ridge has over 50 colors and styles to choose from. Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. Ridge wallets have RFID blocking technology that keeps you safe from digital pickpocketers as well. Get 10% off at ridge.com when you use code OKBreakdown at checkout. That's ridge.com, code OKBreakdown for 10% off. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. All right, for my winner of the week, give me the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just stay up nice and late to watch that one, Ted?
I did not.
What are we doing, NBC? Someone explain that to me. Now, if Thunder win against the Clippers in LA, they're 8-0 for the first time in franchise history. That's awesome. But why are we tipping NBA games at 10 p.m. Central, NBC? What are we doing? I don't understand this at all. They paid a gajillion dollars for NBA rights, and they're putting games at times that people are sleeping.
Right.
Did anyone on the East Coast watch this game?
Doubtful.
And half of the Central Time Zone probably fell asleep in the second quarter. Now, your boy made it through 3, did not make it through 4, but before I went to bed, made sure I recorded that fourth quarter and watched it this morning, which, by the way, was totally worth it because the Thunder closed the third quarter so strong and then 11-0 to start the fourth, and that thing was over, and I was like, nice. But what is NBC doing? Why are they having these games be so late on Coast to Coast Tuesday, which no one wants Coast to Coast Tuesday, NBC. We want reasonable game times.
Yeah, on work nights, on school nights. Yeah, let's tip some of these things off at a decent time. I'm with you. You'll get no complaints here on that rant.
SGA. I don't know if you know this, Ted. Very good at basketball.
Continues to be so.
30 points, 4 of 5 from 3, and a couple of those like pull up off the dribble threes, which if he hits those, buddy,
long night.
League is toast.
Yep.
Now, it was his 80th consecutive game with 20 or more points. That had him pass Oscar Robertson for the third longest streak of consecutive 20-point games in NBA history. The only man with 2 streaks longer than SGA's, Wilt Chamberlain.
Good company.
And those streaks are 126 games and 92 games. 92 feels very gettable.
Yep.
And with just how good this guy is, 126 doesn't feel crazy to me either.
Yeah.
So I think we're always looking at things to get us juiced up about the Thunder season, like before January, you know?
Yeah.
And this streak kind of has me juiced like, hey, how many times is he going to score 20 points in a game in a row? Like, I think this streak is within reach, which sounds crazy because it feels like every record that Wilt Chamberlain has in the NBA is out of reach for anyone. But this one somehow feels gettable for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
126, I was like, at first I was like, how are you going to compete with that? But then it's like, Yeah, health is like the biggest factor, right? That he
Yeah,
doesn't exit a game early with something is
that's a
it's
great point.
kind of the only thing that you feel like is the most legitimate way to derail it. If he's playing 4 full quarters, I 20 is very gettable for Shea, night in, night out. He's obviously so. I don't. That will be fun to watch that as it ticks up and gets closer to some of those records. It's impressive, man. Hard to
Yeah,
do.
something to monitor. Something to monitor and keep you more invested early in the Thunder season. Looking at the game against the Clippers, Thunder were 18 to 38 from three. If they shoot like that, no one's beating them. I feel like we said that a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Isaiah Joe comes in and goes 6 of 10 from three. And one thing about Isaiah Joe is impressive as the 3-point shooting was. The dude was playing on ball defense like it was the NBA Finals. It
I
was
know.
awesome to watch.
I like the way he defends. He's good. Like he's one of the guys on the Thunder that it's just stars are always going to get the most attention. But man, continue to love the role players on this team. Man, there's a bunch of them.
How about AJ Mitchell in a first? I mean, he played another solid game. I love the way that he's playing for this team. But he was on the injury report with a bilateral gluteal contusion.
Hmm.
That man had a bruised booty, Ted.
Bilateral.
Bilateral, both. That means both butt cheeks.
Took a hard fall or something. I guess I don't know.
Took a hard fall at the Pelicans game. I was there. I saw it. Didn't look like it felt great, but the old bruised butt cheeks and still went out there and play. The toughness from AJ Mitchell, impressive.
Put his ass on the line in this
Nice. Nice. And this is still a team that's playing without J-Dub, right? Without Jalen Williams, without their other all NBA player. And he got that screw that was irritating his wrist removed. They said he'll be reevaluated in a week or two. So we'll see when J-Dub comes back. But the Thunder are doing all of this without their second best player, which makes it even more impressive.
Yep. It's crazy. Nice start to the season. Only undefeated team out there, 8 straight. How long can the streak go, Gabe?
Who knows?
Who knows?
82-0, still on the table.
82-0.
Dort did tweak the shoulder like Peck in this game and didn't come back in. Didn't love seeing that.
Yeah.
So let's hope that thing's feeling all right. It's nothing serious. All right. My loser of the week. The Dallas Cowboys. They got smacked at Jerry World by the Kyler Murray-less Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football, 27-17. And remember, they blocked a punt for a touchdown in that game.
Right.
In the NFL.
Yep.
And still got beat 27-17 at home. That's typically not how it goes in that league. But credit to Jacoby Brissett. That guy is smart. Throw it to Marvin Harrison Jr. and throw it to Trey McBride, and usually good things are going to happen. That's smart quarterback play, Ted.
Yeah, it's good to see Marvin Harrison get going. Like he's had a weird start to his NFL career. But the talent is obviously incredible. So to see him, that route he ran on that touchdown was really nice. And he's
it's really nice when you make the corner just fall down backwards.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Twist him up a little bit. It's getting to Jerry. He was all pissed off up in the box. That was kind of interesting. But hey, got Quentin Williams in a big trade.
Yeah, I mean, that loss dropped the Cowboys to 3-5-1 on the season. Not good, right? And it feels like the NFC East race is over. You've got Philly at 6-2. It feels like Dallas is already just too far behind to make up that gap. And the NFC East is the only division in the NFC that isn't going to be ridiculously competitive.
I know, and the Giants fans are pissed right now. They're 2-7. We just talked about Washington. Mariota's going to be their quarterback for the foreseeable future. And then, Dallas is just kind of Dallas. So
yeah, but
it's crazy.
Their defense, they have had the second worst defense in the NFL behind Cincinnati. 31st in total defense, 31st in scoring defense. Their defense has been bad. But to Jerry Jones's credit, they have addressed it or believe they have addressed the issues at the trade deadline. They trade for Logan Wilson, who'd kind of been benched in Cincinnati, if we're being honest, to play next to our guy, Kenneth Murray, at the inside backer spot. And then they went and got a 3-time Pro Bowler in Quinnen Williams from the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if Quinnen Williams can really anchor that defense and make that unit improve significantly, because it doesn't matter what Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and that group on offense does, like, if their defense continues to stink.
Yeah. Man, it'd be nice if they had like a really good rush in, like a Micah Parsons type guy.
Yeah. That would
help tie things together for that defense.
I love people who are like, oh, well, Quinnen Williams is making like half the money Parsons is making. And you're like, yeah, that's because he plays D tackle and not defensive end. That's how it works in this league. Like, what people are like, oh, what a galaxy brain move by Jerry. He acquires Quinnen Williams instead of paying Micah Parsons. It's just like, what are you talking about, dude?
Well, you're going to have to pay Quinnen Williams at some point. I don't know what his
He's making like 24 or 25 a year. He ain't cheap.
Yeah.
For a D tackle, but the Micah Parsons thing for me set the tone for the season for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Like the season field doomed from the start when they traded away their best player.
Yep.
But
yep, that's right.
Do you look at the Cowboys schedule, this upcoming schedule for them?
I'll look at it now.
They've got a bye. And then they have the Raiders. I think that's a Monday Night Football game. And then look at the rest of it.
Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah, they've got.
I think you missed I think the Eagles are in there also.
Oh yeah. I started one. Yeah, Vegas, Philly, Kansas City. Yeah, they're
3-5-1. They made moves at the trade deadline. They may win one game over the next like 2 months.
That's crazy. And Vegas is they got Bowers back, who has missed pretty much the entire season after I drafted him. It was my fantasy team, but he's back, had a good performance, came up short against the Jaguars. But even the Raiders, whose schedule is bad, they're probably going to start getting better.
Any thoughts on, it seems like the Cardinals are going to stick with Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah, what's going on with Kyler's foot?
I'm not sure, but typically if you're paying a guy $230 million, if that guy's healthy enough to play, he plays. But Brissett, they're kind of rolling with Jacoby Brissett. I kind of respect Gannon if that's the case. It's like, hey, we're kind of clicking. Things are working. We're going to stick with it. But you may have a disgruntled face of your franchise. I don't know. That is a slippery slope for that organization, man.
Yep.
And they're a really good 3-5 team. I saw this stat on Pat McAfee's show. Teams that have trailed the least this season. Number 1, the Seahawks, 6-2. Number 2, Arizona Cardinals, 3-5. Number 3, Packers, 5-2-1. Number 4, Rams, 6-2. They've been in it like every single game, man.
Dang. They lost 5 straight. They lost to the 49ers by 1, 16-15. A field goal to the Seahawks. Lost by 1 to the Titans, 4 to the Colts, and 4 to the Packers. Tight football games.
So that's the thing.
That's
if you're
a good
Gannon
list
and
of teams too.
Yeah, and you're looking at Brissett and the way that he's operating the offense, like if he's the difference between you winning and losing those games, as much as I want to see Kyler Murray play because he's an OU guy and he's wildly entertaining, it's like, do you mess with something that appears to be working?
Let's
slippery slope.
Week. We want you to be 100% whenever you come back. So let's try and buy some time and massage that injury situation. But hopefully he's okay, gets back, and it gets his season rolling.
But Cowboys, my loser of the week. Smacked on Monday Night Football. Made trade deadline moves, to their credit, but they got an absolute beast of an upcoming schedule. So Does not change the fact that the red, white, and blue stripe on that Cowboys helmet for Military Appreciation Month is awesome.
Yep.
Great look. Love it.
Cowboys got good uniforms, man. They
It's
do.
true. It's true. Bad football team, good uniforms.
That's right.
All right, birthday shout outs. Welcome to the world, Wilder Birch White.
I like that name. Happy 12th birthday to the greatest daughters of all time, Jensen and Brecken.
Happy 15th birthday to Gunnar Stockton.
What? Happy 28th birthday to Hayden Jones.
Happy 30th birthday to Ashley Stewart, soon to be Ashley Hicks.
Oh, congratulations. Happy 50th birthday to Kenneth Burns.
Happy 62nd birthday to Alan Schaefer.
Happy 62nd birthday to David McCarty.
And happy birthday to Rob Lindsay. I feel like that was Rob Lindsay. I read that correctly.
Yeah.
No, the two B's on Rob threw it off. I think I maybe just typed it wrong.
Double tapped.
Possible. The bye week is going to be so great. I'm so excited. On that note, episode 578 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please check out our website, okbreakdown.com. And don't forget, Winning is a Skill shirts are now available.
Yes.
opolisclothing.com, promo code TED for 10% off. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.
Boom.